Hello, 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 and welcome back to Johnathan's.
She's Jen. I'm Hannah. We are two besties for the Rusty. Kind of have to be. She named a kid after me.
Oh, update. In case you guys didn't know, we adopted our final child. He's not our final child, but we adopted the final child that we're going to adopt, the final child that we're going to adopt.
Kind of.
So we've had him for almost 5 years. His birthday is the beginning of May. So we've had him for almost 5 years, and we are just now able to adopt him. We have changed his name, and his middle name is Hanley, and that is from Hannah. And her dad's middle name is Lee. And she threw a big old fit about it because
I did not throw a fit about the name.
Because she wanted to know.
Because she would not tell me, and she told someone else.
And she wanted to know, and I was surprising her. So on adoption day, I was like, it was very exciting to adopt my child, absolutely. But you have no idea how badly I wanted to turn around and say, this is why I didn't tell you. You almost ruined the surprise.
She's been saying I told you so ever since then. It's been a nonstop thing of I don't know.
It's the least you can do. I did name a child after you. So anyway,
returning the name.
We are besties for the Rusty as long as things go okay. As long as she doesn't get an attitude with me again when I try to name a child after her and surprise her. But anyway, welcome. We are going to do something very special today. This means I have to flip this video around. We are going to review this book, The Sugar Demons, which we told you guys about a few weeks ago and we love so much, right?
We do.
This is such a creative book. It's written by Johnathan Cranford. There he is. He's cute, guys. Look at him.
She messaged him, guys.
I told him what a great book this was. We are not posting this video. I will get in trouble. No. Anyway, it's Johnathan Cranford.
It is a really good book.
He was on the Food Junkies podcast, which we love so much. Shout out to Vera Tarman, if you see this. And
if she sees this,
we're going to tag you. So anyway, it is really, really creative. It's a very short read. It is
super easy read.
It's 107 pages. And it's written very fun and very lighthearted, but like really explains some of the things, like it expresses like what we feel. So anyway, we're going to go through just a little bit of this. Is there anything overall view that you want to say about this before you like go into specifics?
I love the approach he takes in the book. We haven't implemented all the approaches in the book, but my favorite thing about this is not this table. Sorry for the squeaking. The table wants to make its own appearance. My favorite thing about this is a supplement. He, at the end of most chapters, talks about a supplement strategy to help, which was enlightening, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But
highly recommend. We won't spoil it all for you.
No.
We're just going to go through a couple things that stuck out to us.
I went through and started highlighting like 5 minutes ago. The very first, seriously, page 3, he says, my demons communicate through feelings. And I read that. I'm like, okay, this book is going to make sense to me.
Yeah.
So he talks about sugar demons.
Which are your sugar cravings. That's what that's referring to.
So the first chapter, he's talking about different things that they use and how they communicate. And like stress is their weapon. Boredom works well. All the things that kind of trigger you to want to consume. This is, I just want to read this line because I love this line. I've said similar things, and I think that this gives you really, am I right? This gives you a really good idea of kind of how his writing goes.
Oh, yeah.
So he says, sugar is just a chemical fact. Sugar demons, on the other hand, are destructive creatures who hide in your subconscious. In other words, you carry them with you. You carry them with you in the same place a heroin junkie carries his demons. Though sometimes I envy the heroin junkie. At least every friend, family member, coworker, TV commercial, sign, and billboard isn't trying to feed his addiction.
Yeah.
I love the way he put that together because I've thought the same thing. We've said the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. So there was something I had my list of what I was going to talk about, and it's on my phone, so that's not helpful. So I'm just going to wing it.
He talks a lot about like when the bored eating, the stressed eating, but when you start insulting yourself, that's not the sugar demons because your addiction is not going to insult you.
Yeah.
It wants you to feed it. So it's going to be nice to you. It's going to offer you the break. You deserve a break.
Yeah, you're tired.
This is
all
a
the
treat
excuses.
for you.
Yeah.
So the first chapter is really just, he's very descriptive in what these sugar demons sound like, and then hits you with, if this sounds familiar.
Yeah. And you could totally relate to it because it is very much,
so
I mean,
good.
he's dealt with this himself. And so it is extremely relatable. And you just feel like you've written the book. Like this is what these are your words.
Yeah, it very much does feel like this. So he has a portion in here that talks about how the book works. Each chapter outlines a different strategy for fighting the sugar demons. And then also in the first chapter, he talks about his system for identifying and classifying carbs that he can eat. This is something that
which is really, really helpful.
Yeah, I was on Noom before Weight Watchers, and Noom had a color code for foods. You had green light foods, you could eat everything, yellow light foods that you had to be careful with, and red light foods that you needed to eat very, very little of. He does the same thing. He has green light, yellow light, and red light carbs. So the list might be different for different people, but these are the carbs that he can eat in abundance, the carbs that he needs to be careful with, and carbs that he stays away from. So I really love that list.
Yes, I do too. That's very helpful.
It's interesting to see it in list form like that.
You just need to get to your favorite component of the whole book.
Yeah, so like he turns fighting your cravings into a game.
Which as soon as I read it, her and I were reading it at the same time, like her respectively, you know. And as soon as I read it, I'm like, Hannah's gonna be down for this. Like, this is like
I
right
like
up her
to
alley.
play games. I haven't done this yet, but I'm trying to talk her into doing a calendar for next month that is a form of this game.
The approach that he takes is very unique because for one, it does make it a little bit more fun, but for two, it's like giving you some like hands-on, like practical things to do, and kind of a way to think about this situation versus, you know, we've just kind of felt helpless and we let it overwhelm us, but this is taking it one step at a time. So what he does is he turns this into a game that came from a book that he read.
Yeah, it came from Super Better,
which I have no idea what that is, but
Super Better by Jane McGonigal.
Yeah,
she devised the game to help her heal from a concussion.
Yeah,
I've actually heard about it before.
Yeah,
but
I never have.
He turned it into Super Better for sugar demons. And so he's got the rules of the game. You adopt a secret identity, just like in any game when you're creating your character.
So when you do that, you don't think of yourself fighting these things. You think about this person that you kind of want to be and see yourself as, right? Isn't that what the whole... And so that's your identity is like, okay, I don't want to think about Jennifer fighting this. I want to think about whatever my
think Bruce Wayne and Batman
secret identity would
Bruce
be.
Wayne isn't the one fighing the crime, Batman is. Whatever, it's similar concept. So you adopt a secret identity, you can keep it to yourself or you can tell someone else. You activate 3 power-ups. He talks about what power-ups are per day. You complete a quest per day, you recruit an ally, and you define your epic win.
Those are your 5 little steps.
So these are things that you do, and he talks you through how to play the game, and I think it'd be fun to turn it into like a board game somehow. We don't know how yet, but it takes you out of it. It takes you out of like, because if you're a food addict, it's really easy to feel like it's you doing all this, and I should just be able to control my eating. I should be able to do this. I should be able to do that. And if you're playing the game, then it's your avatar, your character, or whatever. Makes it easier. Finally got something to say.
Well, the secret identity part, what I was trying to explain, he says this is on page 32, thinking of myself as Jedi Master Johnathan accomplishes 2 things. First, it forces me to focus on my strengths or the strengths I want to have rather than my weaknesses. Second, it gives me some distance from my problems. This self-distancing is a topic covered in Super Better, and I believe it is one of the most psychologically powerful weapons against the sugar demons. It sounds silly to me at first, coming up with an idealized version of myself, trying to imagine what he would do in my situation. So that is why you would get this secret identity, because you imagine yourself as that person. I know he says it. It sounds silly, but I promise you, like, it makes sense. Like if you act in the way that you want to be, if you act as the person that you want to be, like, and the person that you ideally see yourself as, like, you're gonna make some different choices. You're gonna make choices to become that person.
It's fake it till you make it, but in a real life situation and for your health.
So then when he talks about the second one was power ups, and so that would be a power up is anything that gives you a quick rush of positive feelings and can be reliably repeated. So he puts them into 3 categories, which is physical, emotional, and social. A physical power up would be something like doing a workout, exercising, going for a walk, drinking a glass of water. Emotional power ups would be like,
we like this book so much, we're just going to read the whole thing to you.
I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm giving examples of each of the 5 steps. That was the huge thing of it. You're going emotional and social.
Emotional power.
Things that make you happy and things that involve other people. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to read the whole book to you.
It's hard not to because it's so easy to read. Quests are like
The third one is complete at least 1 quest per day.
You do something important, like a quest can be getting a new lunchbox or food prepping or whatever.
Something that like pushes you toward that goal.
And recruit allies. Well, that was an easy one. We did that before anything else.
Who am I going to have as an ally, though? The last one was what? Define your epic win.
So the first step of admitting to yourself you have a sugar addiction is a difficult place to get to. But it makes you feel hopeful. I'm going to read the whole thing if I'm not careful. So you define your win, and you'll have more than one epic win. Like my first epic win was, going to the gas station and not buying a candy bar, or there was a lot of things. Anyway, this is my favorite thing. The end of these chapters, he does supplement strategies, and he talks about different supplements that can help you win the game. And a lot of these I have tried. Mm-hmm. You have tried one of them. The first supplement is the one that we've both tried, and that's L-glutamine. L-glutamine, 5 grams per day, taken with breakfast and before cravings. So L-glutamine it's the most abundant amino acid in your bloodstream and muscle tissue. He tells you what the supplement is, what it's good for, why it's safe, and what it does. And he talks about how he uses it. So with L-glutamine, when you know you're going to have a craving, you take L-glutamine before, and it helps. And it really,
like if you're about to be in a situation where you're like, okay, I'm not sure how this is going to go. Like or like I maybe get a little bit more cravey at nighttime, or when I'm gone somewhere, or and it does seem to help.
Like there are times, like when I go into the office for work, I get up earlier than normal. I have good eating. I have my plan. I am good. But when I leave the office, I am tired. It's been a long, stressful day of thinking and working and talking and peopling because I've been in person with people. And that takes a lot out of me. And a lot of times I'll have to stop and run an errand or go to a gas station. And there are also about 150 different fast food places I have to drive by. And it is a very easy time. And it is always a time where I'm like, oh, I'll just stop and get myself a soda or this or that, or go into the gas station and get myself some chips. Or so when I leave work, or about 30 minutes before I'm ready to leave work, I take an L-glutamine. Then I don't know how it works, but it takes care of the craving. And now you're not always going to know when a craving's going to hit.
Yeah.
But we all have time-sensitive cravings, I think, or situational cravings. And if you've got one of those, L-glutamine helps.
Yes.
Have you noticed it helping?
It does. It does help. I think that it helps more if you're in like active craving stage. And so I've been off of sweets for over a month now, and so I don't really have a craving. I don't really have a craving for anything anymore. I just feel like I may find myself in tired situations where I'm like, I'm just going to overeat because I'm hungry. I'm tired. I don't really feel like, sitting down and planning this out. And I feel like that does help me a little bit there. It doesn't necessarily help like because it's not a craving I'm feeling, but it just kind of
I
takes down that like overly hungry,
Right.
have to have something feeling.
I haven't used it as much unless I'm going into a situation that I know I'm going to have trouble with, or if I'm tired.
Yeah.
If I know I'm tired, then I'm more likely to make sure that I have the L-glutamine with me in case I need it, because I know that I'm going to be easier triggered. Okay, chapter 3 is choosing the battlefield. I'm not going to read all of this, but I do love this part. He says, forget discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline, willpower, self-control. These are terms the processed food industry has been using for decades to shame us into thinking it's our fault for not being able to resist the highly processed, sugary foods they sell. All the while, they've been adding more sugar and flavor chemicals to the foods they produce, thus making them more and more addictive. We have said in the past that you can't rely on motivation. That's only going to get you so far. And he talks about that. And I love that.
And the thing is that when you know that you're not disciplined, because he talks about how other people have said, oh, you're so disciplined to stick with this way of eating. And he talks about how it has nothing to do with discipline, because it's about knowing that there's a process and like sticking to the process, like sticking to like I have to do this, because I'm not disciplined, I have to stick to this set of rules for myself.
So,
and it doesn't, I think I don't know. I mean, I think it does take some discipline to stick to those rules, but I think it's because your recognition that you don't have any discipline.
But yeah, in this chapter, he's talking about meal prepping. He teaches you how to meal prep in under an hour, and he gives you an idea of how his meal prep works, because he doesn't have any discipline. He talks in this chapter about having
That's what
ADHD.
it is. It's talking about having those strategies implemented already, so that when the time comes that you don't have.
Right. So when you have to rely on the discipline to make the choice,
and
you're not relying on the discipline to make the choice.
Yeah.
You've already made that.
That's what it was. Yeah.
You've taken all the possibility of anything else out.
Right.
This chapter, he talks about supplement strategy number 2, which is acetyl L-carotene. You have not tried this. I have. It's acetyl L-carotene is the common amino acid L-carotene with an acetyl group attached that allows it to cross the blood-brain barrier, where it does some pretty amazing things. It has antioxidant properties, but what supplement doesn't. What it does, it helps with brain fog.
Yeah, it's like mental focus is what it's for.
And I do take it every morning, and it has helped, because I'm very squirrely, and if I do notice that it helps. I'm not going to give you all the sciencey stuff. Read the book. He's got it all in there. Chapter 4 we liked. Broccoli angels.
Yeah.
He talks about finding the foods that are going to help you. In his case, it's broccoli ink. It's an angel. He talks about where that term comes from. It's finding foods that are going to help you fight the cravings and help you fill up. A big one for me is hard-boiled eggs.
Also focusing on the things that you can eat.
Yep.
And not only the things that you can't eat.
So he has supplement strategy there. MCT oil, I did not do that. He talks about changing your cage, which is really good. I didn't highlight much though. I didn't get this far in the second read yet. Oh yeah. Remember when he talked about the rat park?
Oh yeah.
Like the difference between being in a cage and being in a rat park. Rats in a cage will always go to the addicting substance. If you put those same rats in a park with other rats and more ability to move around and things for them to do, most of them don't go to the addicting substance.
So his point was staying active and staying like social. And for him, he kind of struggles with that because that's not like his natural personality. So
she thought of me when she read this chapter too, because there's a whole section on isolation avoidance.
Yeah. So if you're going to isolate, then you're more likely to turn back to old habits and old patterns. But if you stay busy, normally staying busy will give you enough of that well-being feeling that you don't want to turn to food, or you don't need to turn to food, but also you're too busy to turn to food. And so it talks a lot about that, about just staying busy. And yeah.
He's got a list of strategies to combat isolation Number 1, become a member of a church or spiritual group. Done. Anyway, this supplement strategy was magnesium, which is involved in pretty much everything in your body. And he recommends it to help with sleep. I actually take the same magnesium he's taking. I take it now because I bought it because of this book. Life Extension Magnesium Caps. It contains magnesium citrate, succinate, and magnesium oxide. Citrate tends to be the best for absorption, so it makes sure it gets it into your system. And it actually has helped me with my sleep because I like to stay up late and have to get up early, and that's not good. But I've started taking the magnesium at the same basic time every night, which first of all triggers me to wind down, that it's time for bed. And what I've noticed, it's helped me stay asleep. I don't wake up to every little thing. I don't know why. Read the book, it will tell you. And chapter 6 is just putting it all together, and he's got some worksheets and stuff. And we really do love this book, guys.
It is a great book, and it's an easy one. It's not hard.
I highly recommend it because you'll figure out real quick whether or not food addiction, sugar addiction is the situation for you. And even if it's not, it's going to make you laugh.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And the supplement information is really good information to have regardless.
Yeah.
So
yep. So anyway, we just recommend it. It was good stuff, and it was just a very interesting way to looking at it, very unique take, and kind of gives you some hope.
It really does.
So
and a way to have fun with what can be a very heavy topic.
Yeah, it is a fun book. Okay, that is all. We just wanted to give you guys that. There was a couple people that are interested in hearing more about that book, so we only gave you a very small snippet. There's tons and tons and tons of good stuff in there, and that's it for today.
Yeah, like the video, subscribe, share, turn on the bell. Let us know what you want to hear.
Yep.
And we might have more in the future, but the other sugar books aren't as quick to read as this
I know. This was an easy one to read. All right, we will see you next time. Bye, guys.